yeah, I think all those tests of one's resolve have made me stronger, and of course I'm grateful for it, so no complaints. They say that where there's a why for living, you can overcome anyhow. In 2003, we watched, cult wars, community crisis. We witnessed politicians becoming rulers, and then traditional rulers becoming irrelevant. And of course, I was a victim of all of that. I witnessed it very close up and personal. For me, it was not an option to sit back and allow this to continue. So for me, there was a why. Going into politics had a purpose. And what was the purpose? The purpose was to redress the imbalance and get politicians to start to become accountable to their people. With Amechi, we have that. Can it be better? Of course, the answer is yes. But to me, it was absolutely critical that we get involved in politics and we'll play a major role. So it wasn't even negotiable.
Would it be okay to say maybe you got into politics because your father was snubbed, because maybe you didn't get the kind of contract you expected?
No, I mean, it's
your father being a traditional ruler?
Yes, well, of course, there was no doubt that that had a role to play in it. It was personal to me that it needed to be addressed, but it was beyond that. I believe that if you go into politics for purely selfish reasons, you will go you won't go very far. So it was more than that. It wasn't just what affected me as an individual, it was also what affected other people. It's the kind of things you could see, the distance and the gap between government and the people. I always felt that our people needed to have a louder voice. They needed to be more courageous. But I sensed that many of them had tried and failed, and that was then a lesson for others. And I wanted to come up with a different testimony, that you could try and succeed, and then let that be the testimony for others. So for me, fighting the status quo was something I was quite comfortable with, and I was happy that we were able to achieve, in the end, what I felt was a better government.
What do you say to people who say you are the status quo?
Well, right now, many people may refer to me as that. In fact, I've come to the conclusion that no matter how much I distance myself from the status quo, people always say I'm the status quo. Of course, up until recently, I was leading the opposition. And in leading the opposition, many people looked at me and thought that, well, the opposition is working in unity with the current government, with the current party. So the current government is AC involved or influenced, and ultimately I take responsibility for all those things, there's no doubt. But there's obviously a difference between my own vision and Amechi's vision. It can't be exact. There are a lot of commonalities, and there's no doubt about that. But I think in modern day government in Nigeria, the buck stops with the person who is on top, the chief executive himself. So this is Amechi's government. That's why, if you asked me, I'll tell you that I would score him a 6/10, which isn't bad considering the kind of scores we were getting in previous administrations. But it does mean that there are things that I would do differently.